This was the 23rd of January today. I had a early shift this morning, so it's 7 till 1. I mentioned last night that I worked a late shift the shift before, so I finished at 9:30. Probably left work closer to 10 o'clock. Came home, did my workout, did my run, came back, went to sleep about 1 o'clock in the morning. Tried to sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning, probably went to sleep closer to 2, woke up at 5:30, back to work by 7, finished at 3:30. And I'll tell you what, I was knackered. It's one of those tough shifts. It's so hard to get up for, and it's so hard to look at in your roster mentally, just because you know how drained and how tired you're going to be. And after that shift, so I came home, I had a little bit of food, and then I fell asleep on the couch for like 2 hours. I was gone, and luckily I had an alarm set, because if you're a shift worker, you might appreciate this, but when you're just tired all the time and your body clock's just all around the shop, you can go sit on the couch and start watching a movie or Netflix or YouTube or whatever, and then you might just nod off, and then you might wake up like 10 hours later. You might just have a full snooze. So if I didn't have that alarm set, I probably would have slept through till tomorrow, which is like no problem, there's a day off, but I hadn't done my training yet. So this training that I filmed here, it's about 8:30 at night. I'm recording this about 9 o'clock at night for the voiceover. And yeah, so I came home by sort of 4 o'clock, 4:30, had some food, and then from like 5:30 until 7:30, I was gone ski. Look, I felt like I had a full 8-hour rest in 2. Like I dreamt. I had really, really vivid dreams. I think I was dreaming that I was still at work, which is probably more of a nightmare than a dream. But yeah, I felt like I'd slept for 8 hours. So I woke up feeling really refreshed. But you know how you feel when you wake up from like a nap that goes a little bit too long and isn't quite a full sleep. You're a little bit groggy, a little bit hazy. I sort of stiffened up again from the day, so I needed to I spent about 20 minutes stretching before I went down and did this run again. And look, warmed up with a couple push-ups and some loo raises, and then just worked on sort of my rotator cuffs a little bit, just to get the muscle moving again after a couple of days of cardio, because I know I'm on days off tomorrow, so I'll be back at the gym working my muscles tomorrow and getting a good pump. So it's more of a reminder. And look, you've seen me do these loo raises before, numerous times, and I've sort of thought I've picked it up from just watching Chinese weightlifting videos. And I've just found that in my shoulders, I have very little shoulder stiffness anymore. I used to have really stiff shoulders, especially if I did any sort of shoulder exercises at the gym, any sort of press, man. Like I felt like my shoulders were compressed for 3 or 4 days, and it would take a while for them to decompress and loosen up. But doing these loo raises sort of every second day, which has pretty much been what I've sort of been doing, roughly, has just loosened up my shoulders, and then it also engages my back as well, and I'm feeling the development of some of those finer muscle groups in the back, in and around your scapulars, especially when you're retracting. So the idea is sort of like you tighten your scapulars back, and then you move your arms up, and as you move your arms up, you're slowly relaxing or releasing that tension in your back, and sort of using your back and your scapula to push a little bit as you sort of round your hand over to the top. So I think for me, I found that they've been great maintenance exercises. And the rotator cuffs as well. Like I just thought I'd do something else just in between the loo raises. 3 sets of 10. I find it's all I really need to just get everything loosened up and get everything warm. And yeah, for me, it's just a reminder to my body that look, you're doing a couple of days of cardio, and that's great, but get the muscles ready, get the muscles firing while we're sleeping. We're going to prime ourselves for the gym tomorrow. Don't know if that actually works, but in my mind, that's just what I'm doing. I'm just, giving them a little hint that they're going to be working tomorrow and they better be ready tomorrow, because there will be fatigue and there will be a solid workout. This workout here, though, just to bring it back to what I'm doing here, just back on the runner. 20 minutes again of running. Yesterday I was sort of slogging it out cruising at about 12 k's an hour. Today I wasn't feeling as good, but I upped it to 13 k's an hour. Just to push myself a little bit more and still to make myself feel slightly uncomfortable and not allowing myself to relax into just slotting in at 12 k's an hour. I always want to be pushing for better times when I'm doing my tempo runs and things like that later down this track. So I think even these sort of base runs, you don't necessarily have to be relaxed and chilled and not too stressed out through them. I still think you should just put a little bit of stress on your heart, a little bit of stress on your mind, and I think it should still make you want to have those moments where you think about stopping, which I definitely do. I've always found running on a treadmill the hardest thing. When you're running outside, or you're running down the road, like, you're seeing things, you're seeing obstacles, you're looking around at your environment, you're engaging with your environment, whereas when you're running on a treadmill, you're sort of just looking out a window or looking at the timer, or like me looking at myself in the reflection, or out at the pool. It's a pool out beyond that glass. And, listening to music and just trying to just sort of get in your head a little bit. So I think these runs mentally are a little bit harder, and it's probably better for my mentality to work on getting in the zone and zoning out a little bit. Doing those arm workouts as well fatigued my arms a little bit, so my arms got quite tired when I was running, and that's something that I definitely notice if I ever run after I've gone to the gym. I'm always carrying my hands a lot lower, and I'm always shaking my arms out so much more because that lactic acid just digs in there and sort of makes a home in there. But look, I'm not going to say too much more about this. It was a good run. I felt that my cardio is still there. I still feel fit. I don't think I ran quite as far as yesterday. I think I ran about 4.5 k's yesterday because I did a few minutes at the end where I ramped it up to about 15 k's an hour as on the treadmill speed. I think here I got up to, I accidentally upped it to 13.5 k's an hour when I was trying to look at the distance settings. I pressed the wrong button, so I dropped that back down after a minute and a half when I noticed my glute starting to tense up a little bit because I was working a bit harder. So I did about 4.2, roughly 4.2 k's in that 20 minutes. And look, that's probably all I'm going to say today. I'm knackered. I'm a bit of brain fog. I think I just need to have a really good sleep, and we'll be primed and we'll be ready tomorrow. We'll get in the gym. I'm feeling like deadlifts, I'm feeling like squats, and I'm feeling like bench press. So, look, I think body able and mind willing, we'll get that done tomorrow. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one.